Hey everyone, I hope everyone's enjoying their holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up for me, and it's been fairly busy, so not a lot of video making. I've been kind of working with some tools. I had a gig where I did some product photography, and one of the things that I noticed in that is some of the highlights got blown out. And I was trying to figure out a tool in Darktable to help me solve that, and it seems as though Filmic RGB actually helps with that. It helped out a lot. It really recovered a lot of stuff, but there are some downsides, and you'll be able to see where you can correct those and get things to look right. So we'll go into that and talk about what it does, what its limitations are, and how to adjust your photo whenever you're taking that edit.
Alright, so here we are in Darktable, and I just wanted to go over this because I know it's an automatic tool that comes in as soon as you upload your photo and go into Darkroom, because it does an automatic adjustment, because it'll be something that can actually keep the highlights and things from clipping. And if you don't know what clipping is, it's just the image loses all detail, so it becomes like an invalid pixel. But in some of these photos, I went ahead and turned off Filmic RGB just to kind of show the difference. And first I want to kind of show what exposure does, because it's going to get rid of any kind of, as you know, hopefully if you're using this, exposure is just going to make it brighter. So if we just drag this up, you can see how between this full-on green, it's all as high brightness as it can be. So this one would be actually blown out, which I'll go ahead and show you that here. See how these are red, means there's no definition. It's just, just a color that's there. And this one's darker. But you can see where doing the exposure higher gets rid of the darkness that's in this one, and it makes it to where it's one color. And if we go higher than that, we can make all three of them that color. And see how we are here. But then if we introduce Filmic RGB, you can see how that kind of separates these. And if I end up lowering this, you'll actually see the other one kind of come back a little. So that's kind of what it does. It gets rid of the saturation and kind of brings back the color that you've lost out of the overexposure. Now let's go ahead and move on to the image here and see how it already has Filmic, but I did turn it off for now just so we can have a look at this. Since it's on my camera's profile, I did do some things automatically, but I think that it'll still come through here. So we turned on, the clipping, so it'll show us, anything that's in red basically is going to be a lost pixel, either in black or white. It's just going to be completely gone for any kind of definition. So let's go ahead and we'll boost this up, and as you see me getting higher and higher, it'll start getting the red shown in here. And if I get to where I really like how people's faces, are pretty well lit, then I wouldn't turn off clipping. But let's go up here to Filmic RGB, and once I flip this on, you can see it removes that possibility of the lost pixels. And then you can go in here and you can adjust things on your white level and stuff to kind of get some of the picture color back as you would like, and increase dynamic range. And then if we look at the dynamic range here, you can see how it kind of adjusts it up there in the histogram, where it compresses the colors down to something that's more on the same level of each other. And now that can be bad in some ways, but if you see how it looks on your image, you can just tell if you like it or not. If you hit tab, it'll make it full screen, as some other videos I've given, and I think that looks all right here. Reconstruct actually changes your light threshold and the highlights. So if you end up doing this, and you won't actually see it change anything too much, but it ends up like doing like a contrast change and some stuff. You can see here with the whites. And even if you go all the way up, you can see it kind of boosts the color a little bit, but not enough to really change it too much. And the transition, this is transition from a invalid pixel, which would be something that's peaking, saying like it's like a red color on there. And if that was the case, then you would just you could boost this up a little bit, and it'll kind of get rid of that. And I don't know how exactly I would show you that without turning something way high and then trying to change it, but the pixels would end up kind of going away a little bit because it would kind of blend with the other ones. In your look, you can actually increase the contrast, which if you use that much, then you'll know what that is. It just does the midtones. So I'm just going to get that back to the reset. I'm fine with how it is currently. And if you have an image that you're not wanting to actually adjust as much of the S-curve, you can use this thing called latitude here. And you can see where those two little points come out from it here. Well, that creates a straight line, so they won't curve from in there, but that will affect your top and bottom to increase or decrease the shadows and highlights. So right here you would end up, you know, it would slide it one way or the other. So if you want more highlights, or if you don't want to adjust the highlights as much, you would slide it to the left here. If you do it to the, or sorry, the shadows, and then you would go to the right to kind of only go down to the shadows, and then highlight saturate. It will allow you to adjust this stuff, and it won't move these. So the longer this is, the less movement you'll have from the S curve, and you can see where it actually starts clipping again. So if you go back this way just a tad, you might find things that look a little nicer, maybe a little more defined. You can adjust. See, this is already clipping downwards in the blacks a bit, but it's not going to show too much. I think there's like just a couple places where that's happening, which is like right here and right there. But let's say we didn't like that we had this up here. Now there's just a little bit of clipping up in that corner. You can go to shadows and highlights, and you could adjust your highlights here. Adjust them downward. I guess it took a second. I don't know. That was very weird that it was not adjusting. Okay, so you can see where it's right there. If you take the highlights from the middle, go down just a tad, you can actually rid yourself of that. And I don't see any other red pixels anywhere. You could probably adjust black point from here. And one of the last things you could do in here would be black level correction. So to adjust the black level to unclip negative black RGB values, which that's fine, but it also kind of helps give some definition to your photo here. And you can turn clipping on if you want to here, because this will actually, you may end up seeing like right here where it kind of takes the definition out of that. So if we go back one and then two, looks like we've got everything, still has enough definition. The photo looks good, it's got good definition. Oh, never mind, I noticed that right here, his mustache. Wow, just a little bit higher than what it was, but that about covers it. I don't know, it looks like it's in his lip too, but I'm going to keep it as is. It's not enough to be a problem. It's not widespread on the whole entire image itself. But that's Filmic RGB and how I would use it to adjust a photo. Even though it's automatically put on here, it is still a very useful tool. You can make adjustments to it, and there's just so many fine-tuned things you can do. But
I hope that explanation of Filmic RGB helped you out and gives you the confidence to go in and try it out yourself. I believe recovering a lot of those highlights is imperative to a lot of landscape photography the most, but there's other times whenever you've taken a photo and maybe you really like how it looks, but something just got blown out and you can't recover it even though you adjust your exposure. And if you found this video valuable, hit that like button and consider subscribing, because I'll talk about a few more tools in Darktable, but I believe I'm going to start pivoting off of that into some other areas at some point. I did actually buy a tripod recently from Ulanzi, an AT05, and I modified it in such a way that it's not a light stand anymore. It's more like my quick deployment tripod, even quicker than the travel one, if you can believe it. And just be on the lookout for that one. That one's still coming up. I've been testing some different equipment with it and how quickly I can actually get it to work in certain locations. So it's just been kind of a long process because I have other responsibilities. But I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next video. And I can't put my hand on it, so I'm just going to walk off this side.